1993 was an interesting year for Land Rover, and you've probably heard the term NAS or NAS, which is an acronym for North American Specification, and that's what I have. This is a NAS 90. North American Specification means that Land Rover built Defenders that were specifically for the United States, not to be confused with an ROW, which is rest of world. So in 1993, Land Rover said, that's it, we're going to go into the US market, and they created a very unique Land Rover Defender that's not like the rest of world Defenders. Rest of world Defenders are the ones with a 300 TDI or a 200 TDI. This one came stock with a 3.9 liter V8. It's a gasoline motor, it has a lot of power, and I've seen a number of them where people put some Borla exhaust, interesting exhaust, because it will definitely give you a nice rumble where it sounds like a muscle car. The NAS 90 was built from 1993 until 95. They skipped 96 and then they built some more in 97. So there's only a little over 7,000 NAS model Land Rover Defenders, and that combines the D90, which is the two-door, and the D110, which was only built in 1997, which is the four-door. Again, they're unique. They're not like rest of the world because they felt that the Americans would want a gasoline engine, not understanding the benefits of a diesel motor. So they had the variation, it was only a 3.9 liter, but you had the variation of a manual transmission or an automatic transmission. This one has the manual transmission, which I highly recommend because it does give you a lot of enjoyment shifting through those gears. And when I tell you it has a lot of power, I'm not teasing. It has a lot of power. It's a joy to drive. So with the NAS 90, since there's only 7,000 of them that were basically built for the United States, it's really hard to find any that are in good condition, meaning that they're not rusted out, that they weren't really taken care of. So the numbers available now are probably around half. Again, I'm guessing, I don't know that for sure, but I will tell you the vast majority of the NAS 90s, NAS 110s that I've seen in my history, they're in really bad shape, that the bulkhead would be rusted, the floors are rusted out, and they just haven't been taken care of. The vehicle, when it came out, was not, let's say, very affordable. It was kind of on the higher end, and it sold really well. It's surprising that Land Rover couldn't keep on building them for the US, but they didn't, which really makes this a holy grail vehicle, that it's hard to find one, especially in this condition, that it's not rusted out, it doesn't really have any rust. So I hope you understand the difference. NAS stands for North American Spec, ROW stands for Rest of the World, and the North American Spec, the way to tell if it's a North American Spec is by the VIN number that's up here on the dash, and then generally they have a badge on the rear where each one of them's numbered. This one, I believe, is number 3059, so they're just really cool vehicles, and if you're a collector, I would say this should definitely be one of the ones in your collection because they're not making any more. They're hard to find. The ones that you do find are rusted out and they're only going up in value. I don't know what the value is going to be in the short term, but I feel pretty confident that it could be in the 200,000 to 300,000 before too much longer, especially with the heavy push on electric. But I tell you, this is so much fun to drive. You take the top off and you go. That's your air conditioning, or you leave the top on and just enjoy it. Some things that you'll normally see on a NAS 90, North American Specification, can be the brush bar, the steel bar, and the silver boost alloy wheels. The bonnets, also known as a hood, this is a heritage hood. It doesn't have the hump in it, so it has more of the classic look, which I think is really cool. And then the interesting part, what I really like about these, which is great for a soft top. If you're doing a soft top, I highly recommend doing doors like this. So the doors, you'll notice this black frame up here. So what happens is the glass actually slides forwards and backwards. That's your window. You don't have a window that rolls up and down. You just slide it back and forth. There's two pins. There's a pin here and a pin here, or I should say knurled knobs, and you just undo those two knobs really quick, and then this whole section, this glass, this black part comes off, and then you have a half door system. It really gives you that soft top feel. It's cool, but just don't put the windows in the back of the truck and drive around because you could end up breaking them. And then the door handle, you notice, is recessed and it's a lever versus a handle with a push button. I really like that. And then right here, there's a bar that fits right in here. I don't have it in right now. And then that holds the top against the window. But this top comes off completely. And then it has this beefy roll bar system. I have a lot of people asking me, how do I get the bigger roll bars? Well, that's because they've seen it on the NAS 90. It has the foam padding on the back, and it's a full roll cage. It truly is a roll cage. It has, of course, the 2 seats in the front, the center console, but this one has a bench seat that's forward facing that goes in the rear, so you can actually put 4 people in here. So let me say that one more time, because we're so used to seeing a Defender where it has the center facing benches where it will sit 6 people, where the benches face each other. This one has a bench that faces forward, so it will sit 4 people. So unique thing about the NAS 90, it's cool, it's fun. This one is in AA yellow, which is, it's a bright color, let's put it that way. It's a fun color, it's definitely a beachy color. It's a color that will draw attention, but it's just unique. And honestly, I like it better than the white. The white's just a little boring. So that's the NAS 90. There's some other differences in it. This one's a 5-speed manual transmission. It does not have air conditioning. And here's the really crazy part. It has 53,000 miles, 53,000 original miles on it. And I do have the records where it was taken in for the oil changes, and it even has the sticker up here when the next oil change is due. So it's been well maintained. It's a lot of fun to drive. I can't explain. Maybe I should do a video where I go out for a drive and act like a hooligan. But NAS 90, fun. It should be in your collection if you are a collector or if you want something that definitely has some heritage and history. But I mean, let's be honest, all Defenders have heritage and history. But this one is really special since it was specifically built for the United States.